What's up, everybody? This is your boy Frank, back again on The Harsh Truth, and today we're going to talk about the 5 things that I want to see happen in the Justice League when it comes out next week. Expectations are high for the Justice League, and I, as well as many others, have a list of things that I really want to see when this movie comes out a week from today. Let's talk about those for just a second. Lex Luthor was by far my least favorite part of Batman vs. Superman, but a close second was the character of Lois Lane. I don't have anything against Amy Adams in the role. I think she plays the role very well, but at times in Batman vs. Superman, she seemed to be way too much damsel in distress and not enough of the ambitious, smart, driven reporter that we've seen from like Margot Kidder or from like even Smallville. I think she was more ambitious and driven and not so much of a Mary Sue character, because the damsel in distress thing gets a little old. Again, I don't blame Amy Adams for this. I blame it mostly on writing. That's been one of the things that has been the big problem with the DC cinematic universe to this point, is that the writing has not been very good. And you've heard me say it about 1,000 times on these videos that they're not crafting their story very well. They're not crafting their characters very well at times either. And I think Amy Adams has fallen victim to that. Hopefully they have fixed this for Justice League. Whether they do or do not, we're going to see in a week. But I think the film would be much better served if there was less Lois Lane and more on the coming together of these characters to fight this evil, which in the movie is going to be Steppenwolf. That said, Lois is rumored to play a significant part in the film. Just what screen time she actually gets is yet to be unknown, but the buzz is that she is going to be a significant part of the motivation of the plot of the film. Whatever her role is, I hope it fits into the film and it's not forced or shoehorned into what's going on, because that's going to make me enjoy Amy Adams' portrayal of this character a lot less. The second thing that I want to see out of this film is very little Darkseid. I don't even want a whole lot of mention to him until way late in the movie, after most of the plot has kind of hashed itself out. Now, I know that DC doesn't want to be Marvel. They're really trying to be their own thing. They're not trying to follow Marvel's template, but Marvel did something very smart. They did not give you a whole lot about the main antagonist behind all the chaos in the MCU until Guardians of the Galaxy, when you finally got at least a decent glimpse of Thanos, who was behind all this mess. That was to build mystery around your big bad character, and I think that's one of the reasons why people are so eager to see how all this stuff is finally going to come to a head in Infinity War, which is going to be coming out soon. As yet, all we've seen confirming even the existence of Darkseid is that giant Omega symbol seemingly burned into the ground during that dream sequence that Batman has in Batman vs. Superman. However, Steppenwolf, if you've ever read a comic book, you know that he is an associate of Darkseid, so his presence alone in Justice League is a harbinger of what's to come, which is the eventual arrival of Darkseid on Earth. It's likely that we will not be seeing Darkseid just yet. According to IMDb, no one's even been cast to play the role, but there are 2 actors that are, as of right now, on the cast list on IMDb, but do not have defined roles. Instead of saying if they're playing, bartender number 1, it's just blank. It doesn't say anything, so I could be wrong. Unless it's a stinger at the very end of the film or some kind of a mid or post-credit scene, I really don't expect him to see him in this movie just yet. So far, marketing for the Justice League has been notably Supermanless, unless you count that hologram that Bruce Wayne seems to be transfixed in. We all know that Superman is going to come back into the film at some point, but the question is when and where. I've talked to some people about this, and they all seem to think the same thing, that the so far lone remaining Kryptonian will probably come into the movie rather early. I, however, think otherwise. Keeping people on the edge of their seat is going to be very important for how this film is perceived. To say the least, the anticipation of Superman's return is high, and is one scene that everybody is focusing on. In my opinion, saving the reveal of Superman's return until later in the movie would be the smartest move. Anticipation is going to help the audience appreciate the film in a different way than it would if you just had Superman fly on the screen sometime in the first act. Obviously, we're not going to know how Warner Brothers is going to handle this until we get to see the movie next week, but I hope they hold on to Superman for just a little while at least to help build that suspense. The introduction of Green Lantern. Lanterns are mentioned in one of the trailers, so it's obvious that they do exist in this universe. But it's mentioned that there are no more lanterns, so odds are either Hal Jordan or whatever human is going to be playing the Lantern probably hasn't been made the Lantern yet. I admit that probably makes it less likely that we're going to see Green Lantern show up in this film. But one of the things that we're going to see early on in the film is how Steppenwolf was defeated the last time he came to Earth. It's possible that alongside the Amazonians and the Atlanteans, that the Lanterns were involved in defeating Steppenwolf the last time he was on Earth. I do want to remind you again that there are 2 actors that are listed as cast members on IMDb. I think both of them are a little old to play the Lantern, but it's possible that they will play, if not Hal Jordan or one of the Human Lanterns, some other Lantern character that maybe comes down and has something to do with the overall outcome of the movie. And that takes us to the last thing that I want to see in Justice League. Give us a post-credit scene. I know all you DC fanboys are out there saying they're not Marvel, they don't want to do what Marvel does, they don't do the post-credit scene thing, but you got to understand, Marvel is not doing this just to corner the market on post-credit scenes. They're doing this to show you a little bit of what's coming. Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, did say recently that there were a lot of extra scenes shot for this movie, and there is a possibility that we could see a mid or post-credit scene. Many think that a post-credit scene would probably be a lead-in into Aquaman, since it's the next movie up on DC's release schedule. I think a post-credit scene would be a perfect place to introduce at least the Green Lantern core, because you don't have to actually cast an actor to play the human Green Lantern to do this. I know I said I was going to stick to 5 things, but I want to give you just one bonus thing that the cartoon fan in me wants to see. I would love to see them establish a Hall of Justice in this movie. Maybe not the art structure that they had in the cartoons back in the day that was set in, I believe it was downtown New York, kind of like the UN. But I just think that would be a really cool Easter egg to throw at all the 80s kids like me. Click right here if you want to watch another cool video from our channel. Click on the link right here if you want to subscribe to The Harsh Truth. Don't forget to smash that like button, share us around to your friends, and we'll see you the next time.